All right, good morning, and good morning. How are you this glorious Tuesday? It is Tuesday, the 28th of April, and hey, we are having a good time today. Miss Denise and I are out on the road. Had to run some errands, and just wanted to spend some time with you on our way back. As you get in and get logged on, will you just send me a real quick hello? Let me know who all is watching and who all is hanging out with us today, where you might be watching from. There's Mary Weddington. Hi, Mary Weddington. Sharon Holcomb is watching. Good morning, Sharon. Good morning. Miss Mary, if you want to share over to the group, that'd be amazing. I do not have a way to do that right now, so that'd be pretty cool. How is everybody this morning? How you guys doing? We've had to mask up and go do some things and places and all kinds of stuff. Again, whenever you get logged on, say hello. Really like to know who all is out here, who all's hanging out with the preacher. And hey, there's Pam Jones is in the house. Pam is here. Pam is here. They are traveling. Pam, where are y'all going this morning? Where are y'all headed out to? We have had to run to Jonesboro this morning and get some things taken care of. Had our mask this morning. Teresa Young from the big metropolis of Widener is out there. Let me see here. Who else is out here? Gail Harris. Do I see you on here, Gail Harris? If you're on here, Gail Harris, say hello. Let's see here. I see Sandra Gray. You're in the building. Say hello, Sandra Gray. Good to see you this morning. Hey, we're going to be reading from John chapter 6 this morning. If you'd like to follow along in our continuing reading. It's John chapter 6, great passage of Scripture. We all know this. We should be able to tell the story at heart when we get into it, and you're going to realize that it is the story of where Jesus fed the 5,000. So we've actually been kind of talking about that a little bit in our message series here of late. And so we're just going to look at this story for the morning and see what all the Scripture has to say. Pam says they are going to South Haven to Sam's. Will you tell Sam that Miss Denise and I said hello? Okay, that we miss them a lot and that we hope to get to see them real soon. Okay, you tell Sam that. All right, hey, here we go. We're going to be in John chapter 6, and we're going to be reading starting at verse 1, and we're going to read through verse 14. Okay, here we go, guys. After these things, Jesus went over the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias, and then a great multitude followed him because they saw his signs which he performed on those who were diseased. And Jesus went up on the mountain, and there he sat with his disciples. Okay, now let's kind of paint this picture real quick, okay? See, Gail Harris says she is watching from the Burger King parking lot. Hey, enjoy one of those Whoppers for the preacher, okay? Eat one of them for me. There's Miss Jessie. Hi, Miss Jessie. There's Deanna Ramsey in the house. Miss D, good morning. Good morning. Okay, let's look at this verse real quick. It's verse 1, chapter 6 of John. He has gotten into the Sea of Galilee, got into a boat. He's traveling across the Sea of Galilee. And what is taking place here is that the multitude is still following him, and they're wanting to know more about him and to see what all he's going to do. And so while he sails across the Sea of Galilee, they're actually walking around to actually meet him on the other side. So that's all taking place. That's in verses 1 through 3. And then they get over there. Jesus went up on the mountain, and there he sat with his disciples. Okay, and so now we're at verse 4. Now the Passover, a feast of the Jews, was near. Then Jesus lifted up his eyes, and seeing a great multitude coming toward him. You've got to remember, when we see that word, a multitude, it's that incountable number. Okay, we got to understand that. Now, we're going to know that there's approximately 5,000 men here. Okay, so this is a very, very large number. Somewhere between 15,000 20,000 people in most guesstimates. Okay, then he looks up and he says to Philip, okay, he says to all our boy Philip, he says, where shall we buy bread that these may eat? But this he said to test him, for he himself knew what he would do. In other words, Jesus was just checking out what Philip was going to do, because Jesus already knew what was about to take place here. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may have a little. And then one of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother. I love it. If you remember on Wednesday night, we talked about how Andrew was the one that always was the person finding somebody and bringing them to Jesus. And so here he found the lad. He found the little guy, and he says, there is a lad here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish, but what are they among so many? This is what Jesus says to him. He simply says, make the people sit down. And so here they are. They're up on a mountain. It's got to be a gorgeous sight to see. And these thousands of people are following Jesus, and they're trying to see what all's going on and to hear him. And guys, we have to understand something. There's no microphone here. There's no PA system. There's nothing. This is just Jesus. And so can you imagine how that must have been like for Jesus to speak or to talk or to preach, and yet hundreds and thousands of people try to hear him? That's only a God thing, okay? That's a God thing that everybody was able to hear. He said, make the people sit down. And now there was much grass in the place. And so the men sat down in number about 5,000. And Jesus took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed them to the disciples, and the disciples to those sitting down, and likewise the fish, as much as they wanted. So it wasn't a restriction. In other words, you only get a little bite here. They got all the bread and all the fish that they wanted. Let's keep going. Verse 12. So when they were filled, he said to the disciples, gather up the fragments that remain, so that nothing is lost. And therefore they gathered them up and filled 12 baskets with fragments of the 5 barley loaves, and those which was left over by those who had eaten. And then those men, when they had seen the sign that Jesus did, said, this is truly the prophet who has come into the world. So another major sign that Jesus did, another major miracle and wonder that Jesus took place. Now, let's understand that our reading is in John chapter 6, but this story is also so important and so vivid that each of the gospel writers wrote this. This is found in Matthew 14, verses 13 through 21, and that's actually the text that we're looking at on Sundays in our Unexpected series that we've been leading up to. So the Matthew 14 text. It's also found in Mark 6, verses 30 through 44, and then it's found from Dr. Luke in chapter 9, verses 10 through 17. So all 4 of the gospel writers really were just blown away by this entire feat. To know that, thousands of people were fed by what one little boy was willing to give away. And let's just think about that for a minute, and we rarely don't talk about it. This boy, he had 5 loaves and 2 fish. Chances are that's all that he had for his family. He may have caught those fish. His mother may have baked those loaves of bread. We don't know. But what we do know is that we had a young boy with a very giving heart who was willing to give it to Jesus so that Jesus could bless it and then give it away. And so may we today see the servant's heart that the young lad had. May we know that whatever we have, when we give it to Jesus, it gets exponentially greater. When we give what we have been blessed with back to Jesus, look what Jesus is able to accomplish with that. And it goes with anything. It goes with our time. Look at the time that we give to Jesus, how he blesses it. Look at our talents when we use what God gives us and how he gives us. See, right now, we're in a time period that we need to be seeking out exactly what God has gifted us with and what our passions are and where our ministry is, so that when we can return back to the building, that we literally come together as attack squads, if you will, to go right back into the community and to impact our community with the gospel of Christ. That's what I'm going to encourage every ministry team, every committee to when you come together, that you come together knowing that you have a plan, you have a purpose, and it is to go right back out into the community to get what God has given you. And when God gives us our time, our talent, and even our tithes, God blesses us with our paychecks. And when we give all that back in return, then look how God blesses it according to His will. So your time, when you give of your time to Christ and you give freely and you give unselfishly, God's going to bless that. He's going to reward that. When you give of your talents and how God has gifted you and you give that away to minister to others and to share with others, God is going to bless that. And then when you give of your tithes, when you make sure that every week when you get a paycheck, that your first check out of your checkbook then goes right back to the church. Folks, let me just tell you something. We don't do it out of duty. We don't do it out of guilt. We do it because it's a form of worship. And we give it back because that's what God has commanded us to do. And just think about this. We can do more by giving Him and let Him blessing us than we can ever do on our own. When you think about it, now you just think about this. God can do more with our 90% that we get, we keep, than we can do with 100%. Have you ever thought about that? God blesses us in greater ways with the 90% than what you and I can figure out to do with all of the 100%. And so let's just think about that, and let's be faithful to get our tithes into the church. Let's mail them in during this time. And if you're behind, then go ahead and double up, get caught up. And you can send all of your financial gifts, your offerings, anything you want to contribute back to the church. I promise you, it will not return void. God will bless that when we give with a loving and a sacrificial heart. And that's exactly what this young boy did today. Think about what you can do for others. How can you help your neighbors? How can you help maybe your coworkers or someone that you're acquainted with? Maybe it's you do something for them. Maybe it's who knows? Cook a pie, give it away. Some of you ladies are some serious cooks. Now let me just say this: I've had your food, and y'all know how to put out some serious groceries. What would it be like just to bless someone with just some extra love, because that's how you're gifted. You enjoy doing that. And there are just a myriad of ways that we can do that. And so let's be processing, let's be thinking how we can reach out and to share the gospel in very tangible, loving, sacrificial ways. Folks, that is all I've got. You guys be safe today. Have a wonderful afternoon, this Tuesday afternoon. I'm going to be working from home the rest of the day. I've got quite a bit of things I need to get taken care of online. And then tonight, don't want to forget, we have our Zoom Sunday School class. We're going to post the link for you to join that Sunday School class later on this evening. And it's going to start at 7. And so you want to make sure that you are on, you are already into the Zoom room so that you can be a part of it and we can get started as close to on time as possible. Brother Larry is doing a killer job, and I'm so thankful that he is graciously doing this. And we're looking at ways to even continue this Zoom class even after we're able to come back to the building. So it's just it's a great tool to come together and to learn. And so join us tonight. That's going to start at 7. And tomorrow night, hey guys, it is Wednesday Night Live. We're going to be going at 6:30. We're diving back into the book of Exodus, and I truly hope that you can join us. Today's a great day to be sending out personal invitations, tagging some folks, and inviting them to join us Wednesday night for our Bible study as we head back to the 15th chapter in Exodus. And then Sunday, you want to take every opportunity that you can to invite your friends, invite your family personally to join us for this powerful conclusion of Unexpected. That'll be Sunday morning. Guys, I am out of here. If y'all need anything, please let me know. I am praying for you, and I am praying for this mess to be over with so that soon and very soon we can get back in. It's going to be gradual. I want you to understand that. Just know that when we begin to get going back into the church, it's going to be a gradual thing. It's not going to be all at once. And so please understand that this is how it's going to have to happen. And so it's going to take a lot of thoughts, a process. I'm working on that strategy now. And we need your prayers to make sure that we do this the right way and that we can still keep everybody safe. But hopefully soon and very soon, I'm going to get to see all of your sweet smiling faces, and I'm going to get to hug your necks like never before because I love you and I miss you guys tons. All right, I'm out of here. I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.